Today I'm going to walk you through how to take off the intake manifold on a 2010 to 2013 Santa Fe or 2011 to 2013 Sorento. I had to do this to get into the spark plugs, but you may have other reasons you need to take off the intake manifold. So this will show you exactly what you need to do, which bolts you need to take off, and you should be able to get the rest done. And then I used this 10 millimeter ratchet, which made the job a little bit easier. 3/8 socket with a 10 millimeter socket. And then there's one instance where I needed a 14 millimeter, but pretty much just the 10 millimeter got the job done. You'll probably want a longer 10 millimeter socket as well, because there's some harder to reach places. And then some hose clamps, because you'll have to remove a few vacuum hoses, but that's pretty easy. And then I use my air compressor, but you'll want something that can blow some air to remove some debris. And then I have these two screwdrivers that help remove some clips. Then I've got some paper towels that I stuck in the manifold. So the first thing you want to do with any job like this, where you're dealing with electrical, is to remove the negative cable from your battery, just so that you don't risk any kind of electrical shock. Once your battery is disconnected, the next thing you're going to do is remove the air box. So you're going to unclip all the electrical, unclip the box itself, and there's one more clip that's back behind it that you'll have to remove. And then just make sure that everything is unclipped. And then once it's all unclipped around the box, then you can pull the air box and just move it to the side, or you can completely remove it. It may make it easier if it's completely out of the way. I just set mine over to the side. Once everything's unclipped, there's just one more spot that it's going to be connected, and that's to the throttle body. And so if you get a Phillips screwdriver, you can unscrew it. You can also use your 10 millimeter actually, which might make it easier. But you're just going to undo that. And then once it's undone, you can just start to wiggle it out, and it should just pull straight back and come off pretty easily. And once it's off, then you can just move the whole compartment over to the side. We'll start removing the bolts from the intake manifold itself. So there's two right at the top that are 10 millimeters. And then once those are out, there's another couple just below them. And so you'll remove those ones as well. And then there's three more 10 millimeters that are just right up front. So here's one, and this is where the ratcheting wrench comes in handy, because it's easy to slide under there and it's adjustable. So there's one in that corner. There's one more just like it in the middle. You can see it right here. And then there's one more over on the other side. So there's three that go together. After that, there's two more 10 millimeters that sit on a mount up above that are holding an electrical clip. And so just remove both of those 10 millimeters and then set them to the side. And then there's two 10 millimeter nuts on either side of the intake manifold. This is where having a longer 10 millimeter comes in handy. 10 millimeter socket. So you'll remove this one, and then there's one on the other side that's just below the mounting clip. It's kind of hidden back in there, but you'll recognize it because it looks the same as the one on the other side. Now there's two bolts hidden on the back. One's just a mounting bolt holding a hose. And so this one's up at the top. It's a little more visible, easy to see, and you can just get back there with your 10 millimeter and undo that one. So there's one more in the back that's a 14 millimeter bolt. It's pretty tricky. It's on the passenger side, and you'll just reach back in there until you can feel it. You won't be able to see it very well, but here's the visual of the 14 millimeter on the bolt. And so you'll take that one out. It should come out pretty easy, but you'll see that it's a fairly large bolt once you get it out. And then the last three holding it in are these three right here on the throttle body, one up top, and then there's one on either side. And so once you remove these, the throttle body should have all the bolts out. So now all the bolts are out that you need to remove to be able to take out the intake manifold. Now it's just a matter of removing the electrical clips that are holding it on. And so as you kind of move the intake manifold around, you can see what's still holding it on. But it should make it pretty easy to just see some of the clips and some of the electrical and hoses that are holding it in. You're not going to damage anything by removing these as long as you remove them correctly. Some of these are kind of a hassle to pop out. But once you get those all out, it should be pretty easy to remove the intake manifold. Just remember, where things were clipped into, and any hoses that you remove, just make sure that you put them back when you're done. But you're not gonna, nothing that is connected to the intake manifold is gonna have any liquid or anything like that that's coming out. You should be able to remove, everything fairly easily at this point. The clips and hoses are removed, you can lift this up, put everything back together the way it was. You can watch this video in reverse if you need help to remember where everything goes. And then also don't forget to reconnect your negative battery terminal when you're done. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. If it was, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more helpful tips on Kia, Hyundai, or Mazda vehicles.